Here we are in Huntsville. It's great. We're delighted to be here. We're delighted to have such a large crowd. The support we have received and are receiving as late as this morning is overwhelming. And we appreciate very much everything that the leadership of this community, the larger community, has given in the development of this symposium. And we obviously appreciate the work of the Army leaders, specifically Army Materiel Command, Training and Doctrine Command, and the Assistant Secretary of the Army, not to mention the city of Huntsville, the Huntsville Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the local Chamber of Commerce. I want to give a very special thanks to the local chapter of the Association of the United States Army, who has provided invaluable assistance and support as we have put this activity together. I want to single out General Dennis Vai and his team at the Army Materiel Command. Too many to mention. I'll just tell General Vai, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. General Bob Cohn, Bob's not with us this morning. He'll be with us tomorrow. To the TRADOC representatives, President Keith Walker, Lieutenant General Keith Walker, thanks to you and your folks from Training and Doctrine Command. And Ms. Hsu, thanks very much for your meaningful and significant contributions and your support. It couldn't have worked without your support. I want to note that representatives of other armies who are with us, my left, your right, down here in the front row. I saw some of them. There may be more throughout the audience. Many of these folks are with us on battlefields around the world, and we are pleased to have you with us and proud of our association with your armies and your nations. Now, we have a very rich and robust agenda, and while you're here, I want you to take as much time as you can to visit the exhibits on the floor. As Michael Scanlon mentioned, professional development takes place in many places, and I think you will find a lot of activities going on, displays and all, on the exhibit halls, which are pretty significant for the Army as it moves forward in this century. I want to thank Floor for their generous sponsorship of our breakfast this morning, and Deloitte for providing the pads and pens. I almost said iPads. I'm sure they would have been delighted to know that they had provided iPads for everybody. I want to mention some soldier athletes who are with us, and they'll be here throughout. Anybody who would like to talk to them. The 2013 Male Army Athlete of the Year, Major Nate Conkley, and the Coach of the Year, Colonel Mark Drown, are en route this morning, and they'll be with us. We have with us here in the hall, I believe, the 2013 Female Athlete of the Year, Lieutenant Colonel Terry Andrioni. She is a all-Army softball player. Are you here? How about standing up? I don't know how you get a softball going that fast, but whatever, it's a different game. We're proud of you. Thanks for being with us. Let me just continue. I want to say a couple of things before I introduce the governor of the great state of Alabama, the Honorable Robert Bentley, who's with us. I would like to say a couple of things before we begin. So it's kind of set the stage on where the Association of the United States Army is on certain things. We have been very vocal on our unhappiness with sequestration, as it seems to have turned out. Over 50% of the sequestration money is coming from the Department of Defense, and we were, needless to say, delighted when the Murray-Ryan Bipartisan Budget Act provided limited relief from sequestration. But that's only through FY15. And the good news is that the chief, with this pullback, has been able to buy back some readiness for the Army in the areas of collective training and readiness of the force. Now, full sequestration, though, of the defense budget is possible in FY16, and you can look for the association to try to leverage this bright spot, Murray-Ryan, going forward so that we see some degree of shifting of the sequestration program away from defense money, because national defense will suffer if we are forced to continue with full sequestration out into the future. So we will be very vocal on that. And we have to be careful that we do not have an artificially small Army combined with the other services. It's sending a very dangerous signal, a mixed signal, to America's adversaries. America's adversaries, I think, sometimes feel as if we're taking ourselves off the table, and that's not good for anybody. And can we deter those who might otherwise think that indeed we are a powerful nation from thinking twice about their actions? In other words, well, they're not interested. So anyway, we're drawing a direct link to that. And of course, implications in the impact on our allies. Those of you who follow the news know that in Munich a couple of weeks ago, there was some doubt expressed about whether the United States is serious in its leadership role that it's performed in the European area and elsewhere. And we are very attentive to the impact of sequestration on our ability to demonstrate strength of leadership and strength of capability as we move forward in these very troubling times. And you only have to look at the newspaper this morning and the TV to know that the world is not safe for positive developments. We're very supportive of General Odiono and his team, and we're very supportive of the Army, active, Guard, and Reserve. In these times where we are relying on an all-volunteer force, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get, active, Guard, and Reserve. And we are very supportive of our Guard and Reserve, and the Guard has two roles. One as being responsive to the governor of the state of Alabama and the other governors of the states, and the other is their federal role. Two different statutes, two different oaths, and we understand the power of the Army writ large, everybody acting in concert for the defense and well-being of the American people. The position of the Association of the United States Army is the leadership of the Army, beginning with Secretary John McHugh, an experienced politician, an experienced political leader who understands the Army, and General Ray Odiono, one of our most battle-hardened and seasoned combat leaders. They are the ones who are responsible and accountable for raising, training, equipping, and supporting the Army. And we are very much interested in seeing them continue with that responsibility as the Army is redesigned for further service in the 21st century. This, to us, is very important. We need them to be doing any modernization of the force, balancing it out and keeping it pulled together. Balance is the byword. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard pull together as one cohesive force prepared to do what the nation needs it to do. And health of the all-volunteer force is critical. And this association is committed to ensuring that we are able to recruit quality young Americans, men and women, and sustain their families in a manner appropriate to their sacrificial service. The all-volunteer force is important. Poor decisions regarding pay, benefits, and health care can be very debilitating. So let me just say that our agenda is full, and we appreciate the support that our membership is giving, and we are trying to be sensitive to the needs of the country in stating our position. These financial times are difficult for everyone, and so we're trying to do our part. Now, speaking of doing our part, I want to acknowledge the Honorable Robert Bentley, who is, as I said, the governor of the state of Alabama, and thank him for being with us this morning. Governor, we appreciate your being here, and we appreciate everything you do to ensure that the Army and the other services located here in the state receive the support that we do, and we have received for years. The governor pointed out that the state of Alabama has a very high percentage of veterans, and that's fairly obvious. It's a great state to live and work, and certainly it's a great state to be a soldier in, that's for sure. And I want to thank you very much personally on behalf of all of us for what you do for us and what you do for the people of the great state of Alabama. So let me ask the governor to come up and say a couple of words.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Alabama, those of you who are not already from Alabama. It's good to be with you today. It's always good to be with some of my fellow veterans, because I'm a veteran myself. Also, our active duty personnel. Thank you for what you do. America would not be free if it were not for our military and if it were not for our veterans. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. This is my third day in Huntsville. You know, I'm going to have me an office up here. Or I can come and continue to promote jobs in this area. That's what I love to do the most. Monday we were here announcing 2,100 jobs from Remington, the largest arms manufacturer in the United States and maybe in the world. Coming to Huntsville, and we're very excited about that. We were here yesterday to announce an expansion of Toyota, a great company that has continued to expand in Huntsville and in Alabama. But today, one of our largest employers for the state of Alabama is our military. And I want you to know how much I appreciate what that means to the state of Alabama and what it means to the people of this state. As the General Sullivan, thank you for your introduction. You just said just a few minutes ago, 9% of the people in this state are veterans. That may be the highest of any state in the country per capita. 420,000 veterans live in the state of Alabama. They come and they serve here, and many of them retire here and they stay here because Alabama's a great state. And may I say, welcome to this organization. This is the first time this organization has actually met here in the state of Alabama. Now, you should have met here a long time ago. Each day, our military men and women bravely put their uniforms on and they sacrifice themselves for their country. The contributions and the sacrifices that they make are important to our country. It's important to our state. I would also like to recognize the importance of our U.S. Army Military Materiel Command here in Huntsville. General Vi and Mrs. Vi, it's good to see you this morning. General Vi and I spent several hours together down in Montgomery a couple of weeks ago as we honored the military, and I appreciate your visit, General Vi, and I appreciate you being in our state. It's great to have a four-star general here in the state of Alabama, and so we're glad to have you. This facility is very important to the state of Alabama. It's important to Huntsville. And as I said, General Vi is our only four-star general in the state. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize the significance of that. You know, it's like when I have my picture made with people. They want their picture made not with Robert Bentley. They could care less about Robert Bentley. But they do want their picture made with the governor. And that's very important. So General Vi may not be the only four-star general that will ever be here, but he is a four-star general. And that office, the four-star general being here, is very important. It's very significant. And he fills that role very well, though. I'm extremely proud, though, that this conference is being held here in Huntsville today. Huntsville does have a long military history. And, you know, we have so many defense contractors that call Huntsville home. In fact, we have 909 contractors, defense contractors that live in Huntsville. And there is a contribution of $5.6 billion in defense contracts from the United States government that comes out of Huntsville. The strength of our military presence and the strength of community support here in the city of Huntsville is unmatched. This symposium is very important to be located here today in this city, as I've already said. I'm proud of the efforts that I see here today, that you have made this possible, even though there are some physical challenges, as General Sullivan just said. There's some physical challenges with sequestration to our military. I told him a while ago that we do have to sequester in this country because we're $17.2 trillion in debt, and we're going in debt $2 billion a day. That cannot be sustained. But sequestration of the military is not the way to do it. We have to keep our military strong. We have to be strong in this world with a strong Army, Navy, Marines, our National Guard. All of this is so important, and we must keep that strong because America is the only country that will ever be able to defend the freedoms of this world because we take it seriously, and we need to always stand strong. So the sequestration is going to have to take place, but we don't want it to take place with the military. But I'm honored to be here today as a part of this. I am honored to be the governor of what I think is the greatest state in the country. Now, I'm a little prejudiced. I know that. But I believe that Alabama is a very special place. As I said, it is very pro-military, with 9% of the population being veterans. But we have done so many things in Alabama to help as far as legislation is concerned, to help our active duty and to help our veterans. Every legislative session that we have. In fact, I think Lieutenant Governor Ivey is here, or she was going to be here with us today. And she works very closely with our military commissions. And I want you to know that we look every year on what the needs are to see if we need legislation to improve our active duty military people and also our veterans. And we're going to continue to do that. But I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be the governor of this great state. And thank you for asking me to be here with you today. I know you're going to have a great symposium. And I'm glad to be one of the people that kicks it off here today. So God bless you, and thank you for your service to our country.